Even the Leftovers H3 subreddit was disappointed in Denims, criticizing her for this move.
Level 100 Giardia Wizard. If a level 100 Giardio Poop Wizard doesn't even believe you, what chance do you stand?
I changed my mind about crowdfunding because I realized that I didn't like the money-grubbing narrative.
So you asked for money and then you felt bad about it? Does anybody believe this?
Your strength is inspiring.
If you're inspired by this person, you gotta get out of the house.
Poopy takes a break from making more Hasan videos to gloat about Denims.
Is Ethan Poopy? Alright, guys. Slop time. Yeah, anyway, serial killer Blacks has got a nice little update for us. I mean, I only call him that because he did kill Blacks' career, unfortunately. But maybe Blacks did a little bit of that to themselves. So, you know, maybe hopefully they'll be able to get it all back. Anyway, that's not what this is about. This is about a little update to the whole Denim, the whole Hasan Parker pant thing. And I'm kind of curious about it. She dropped the lawsuit, which is funny because we kind of all thought that was happening. But then apparently she also is refunding people. I saw that she removed the language in her bio that said that she would refund if she wasn't going to go along with the lawsuit. But then she claimed that GoFundMe told her she had to do that. But then I don't know. I don't care. We're going to just get this started. Let's go.
Denims has put out a statement retracting the
Hasan Parker pant
GoFundMe for the legal notice of defamation that she sent to Ethan Klein.
Yeah, I mean, that was all performative in the first place. There's no way. Somebody pointed out, and I didn't confirm if this was true. I'm just going to be real with you. That's the level of journalism I engage in, because I'm not a learned journalist. That she didn't even put her actual name inside the lawsuit. She put the name Denims in there. So they're like, I don't even think this is real. It's not, guys. All right, it's Palestine. No, but I found that interesting. If true. So,
in her statement, she claims she would rather not handle the whole situation via crowdfunding, instead wishing to pursue it with her own money. Along with this, saying that she
as that's how she walked it back? Who's accepting that as an actual possibility?
She had to send the notice because the law requires you to send one within 20 days of a defamatory statement happening, and that she is still considering suing Ethan Klein despite this GoFundMe retraction.
Okay, that's smart. She always had an out for her idiot audience to agree with. Yeah, I had to do it right now because you only have 20 days, which, by the way, is that even true? Do you only get 20 days to file if there's a defamatory statement made against you? This doesn't even make sense. From what I'm seeing, you have an entire year. In general, California statute of limitations on bringing a defamation lawsuit is 1 year. What? Why is she saying 20 days? Does anybody believe this? That's fucking crazy. That's ridiculous.
Ethan even responded to this as well, continuing to stand his ground, saying that Denims has no case.
I think you have to notify and give 20 days deadline to retract the statements. Is that true? I don't know.
And even the Leftovers H3 subreddit was disappointed in Denims, criticizing her for this move, saying that she should not have
level 100 Giardia Wizard. Wow, that's incredible. A poop wizard, if you will. I love Denims, but she probably should have thought about this a little more. If you start something like this against someone like Ethan, you should commit to it. Naturally, it will be a multi-year long affair. Anyone who knows anything about Ethan knew the chance of retraction was 0 IMO. Her, Hasan, Ian, Mike, Frogan should all bring defamation lawsuits together and help each other out rather than just trying to do this solo, I guess. Well, my understanding is that if you lose a defamation lawsuit, you have to pay the lawyer fees for the other person. I feel like Denims never had any intention of doing this in the first place. I don't know what the game was here, because I think you had to be like a complete fucking fool to think that you were going to get anywhere in some kind of a defamation suit. So I'm not really sure what the hell the play was in general, because it makes no sense. Like, Ethan was never going to retract. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Ethan was never going to retract. Like, how does this give you an optics play? Did they think that the optics were going to be on their side? Is that why they did it? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they thought she thought the optics would be on her side and she'd look good coming out of this. But this person is a level 100 Giardia poop wizard. And even they're like, hey, we don't believe that you're going to continue this in private, because she's saying, oh, I'm going to do this privately with my own money. If a level 100 H3 snark Giardio poop wizard doesn't even believe you, what chance do you stand? What chance do you stand? That's insane.
gotten into something that she wasn't ready to commit to. Welcome to the internet versus Denims GoFundMe retraction. It starts when Denims tweets out a screenshot of the GoFundMe and says, 1 week, 1,692 donations, and $46,000 later, I am refunding the GoFundMe.
Wow.
If/when I go forward as a plaintiff, I will be self-funded. Thank you everyone for proving Ethan wrong. His
Does she make that much money? I mean, I think that the play was just to generate some more money from this controversy. That makes the most sense. That honestly makes the most sense out of anything else. That she wanted to just generate, like, she wanted to continuously push forward with, like, Ethan controversy because she knew that it would provide some money and attention on her main channel, and then decide to retract. That makes actually the most sense that it makes, is that this was all performative to keep, like I said this before, to keep the H3 content cycle going for herself because she makes a lot of money. Because she does this lawsuit, she asks for money, and she just refunds it anyway, and she gets free publicity. She's not a long-term content creator. She's an in-the-moment content creator, right? Like, she doesn't make any meaningful, like, clips, I don't think. Although maybe that was fan channel, was her channel. I don't really know. It probably was. I don't know. I mean, this does make them, well, that she gets to milk the situation. She gets more donations, potentially more video views, and she just retracts it. Nobody really cares because the people who engage with these people are so, they have such low expectations anyway because they're fans of Hasan Parker and pants.
Behavior is unacceptable, and people do care. Proceeding with a defamation suit against Ethan is a monumental undertaking. His suit with Kavanaugh started almost 4 years ago and is still ongoing. I don't want to fundraise to start a fight that I can't finish, and I feel like I've let down those who have donated. With that in mind, if this is a journey I wish to undertake, I'll be doing it with my own funds. I'll be keeping all of you posted if anything happens while the statute of limitation runs for the next year, and I'll be elaborating on stream Friday. I appreciate all of you for the support. It means more than you know.
No problem, Denims. Thank you for all my money back. Appreciate it.
Why issue a legal
what?
retraction?
Thank you. Stop making fun of me saying milk.
Support. It means more than you know. Why issue a legal retraction letter and crowdfund if you weren't serious about your legal threat? I was and am. If CCC 48A applies, you must issue a retraction letter within 20 days of the defamatory statement before you can pursue a lawsuit. This is I don't know. These are all excuses that she came up with before because she knew she was going to retract. why Ethan was so prompt in his letter to Noah, but has yet to file a suit, if he ever actually planned on doing so. I changed my mind about crowdfunding because I realized that I didn't like the money-grubbing narrative. Normally,
What? You like the money-grubbing narrative?
this wouldn't be an issue because I could just be transparent with how the money was spent, but over the lengths of time that a lawsuit would—
So you asked for money and then you felt bad about it? Does anybody believe this? They're probably going to eat it up. Okay.
span, it isn't realistic, and just doing my best isn't enough for an offensive—
Not for nothing. Nobody that just shamelessly watches other people's content cares about looking like they're money grubbing. All right, but some people do add more commentary to it. All right, guys. Some people, you know what I'm saying?
lawsuits. Anyone that's disappointed needs to realize they would have been waiting a very long time for any kind of emotional payout on this anyway, and that it's easier to take my time on this when I'm not being perpetually scrutinized as a scammer. To anyone that doesn't care about the money and just wants to see Ethan take L's, the Kavanaugh suit will end before any potential lawsuit of mine gets off the ground. Not to mention, if he does end up filing something against me, it feels strange to crowdfund for a defamation suit and for a defense at the same time, and mixing the funds feels even stranger. This is the cleanest way to move forward. Froggy Fresh replies with this video in the caption, Denim's lawsuit attempt be like, and it's him sliding down the stairs and falling. Goose
Gotta preserve your bones better, brother. You're a little too old for that.
who says, translation, the law firm I talked with said I don't really have a case. Donkey Chain says, that you're able to just endlessly spin this story to your followers and they lap the slop up so willingly is truly scary. I wish you the best, but I hope you use your powers for good, not evil. Ray replies to Denims by saying, you guys need to get Hasan to do it. At Hasan the Hun is the one with the strongest case, and then
Not really. It's pretty difficult to do, definitely to prove defamation. I don't think anybody really has a strong case.
you guys could do class action suits and then demanding—
It's not in America. I think in other countries it's easier, but not in America. Nobody has a strong case of anything, really. I don't even know if Ethan has a particularly strong case against somebody like Denims. You know, maybe against Noah, but
gag order. Then he'd be forced to move on. Aubrey says, I have so much respect for you and I really do hope that you're able to get the justice you deserve. Your strength is inspiring. Don't let anyone silence you. We have your back. The
bro, was so cringe. Are you serious right now? That person's real? There are people that are inspired by Denims? Dude, this is the problem. If you're somebody who's inspired by Denims, let me show you something.
Denims has put out
If you're inspired by this person, inspired, you gotta get out of the house, bud. You gotta go do something about that. You gotta go jack off. Jack it out. That person's the type of person who sends something like, "Oh, you're so inspiring." And then they come and they're like, "Oh, fuck, I regret saying that." Like, what a weirdo. That's crazy, brother. That's hardcore simpery.
Witchy Trek says, I honestly think you should still get hit with a suit since you announced you were going to sue him, which caused Klein to be billed hours in preparation for defense. Also, why is this coming out a couple hours after you get called out for changing your refund policy? And for
That's actually a really good point. Why does this come out like right after you mentioned changing your refund policy? Does this have to do with that? Did she try to change it to insinuate she wouldn't give the money back? And then she got called on it, basically.
Context on that, Chop Shop posted in the H3H Reproduction subreddit, new edit and Denims GoFundMe description, showing that on May 13th, that last line is removed that's highlighted in the second picture on May 8th, and instead it's changed to say, edits, modified.
Who, by the way, who like was watching this like a hawk and figured this out? Who was watching so closely that they're like, Denims changed the thing? Does somebody have a bot that tells them? It's crazy. I forgot there's no H3 today. He's working on a video. It's good for me.
To comply with GoFundMe terms of service. Before it said if he retracts, this GoFundMe will be refunded. Think before you sleep, quote tweets Denims and says, lol. I guess Denims realized that suing someone for defamation when there is a ton of evidence to prove that Ethan did not defame her is probably a really stupid idea.
True. You know, Think Before You Sleep came into my stream like one time and I said hi to him and then he never came back. I think it's because he realized that I don't like him. I mean, I don't hate him, but it's cut that I saw. Like it's, you know, it's mediocre at best. So I think that's why.
Unfortunate, this lawsuit would have been a great entertainment.
Not really. It would have taken a long time to get through. It wouldn't have really been anything. It would have just been funny when she got fucking stone cold stunnered.
Turio screenshots Denims' post and laughs, and continues by saying, she really tried to. The social experiment has ended, guys, and it was a success, us. Now that you have sent me tens of thousands of dollars, you have proven my original secret goal, and I will be giving it all back. Even after such an embarrassing cell phone, even in the wake of one of the biggest crippling failures I've ever seen, Denims still finds a way to blame Ethan Klein. She is so malicious, it's actually comical. Rob's media quote tweets Denims and says, maybe you shouldn't have hidden evidence from the public? Just a thought, showing a screenshot highlighting a deleted stream VOD from Denims. Cheese and Adderall post the statement on the Leftovers H3 subreddit, and Cold Warthog replies, Ethan is going to be insufferable, an agreeable nerf says, and there will be no mention of the fact that he did the exact same thing with the Noah Samson lawsuit.
You guys got to be careful, man, because Ethan Klein is so petty. You know, you got to be careful when you retract criticism of him, because he's going to take that and shit his pants.
Except didn't have the decency to announce that he's no longer pursuing it, so instead it's just another thing that will never be mentioned again. Expensive Estate replies, man, it sucks that Ethan is going to take this as a massive W, and Denims is going to be flooded with some heinous shit from H3 fans.
People are weird. Heinous shit from H3 fans? It's going to be so heinous, they're going to make fun of her. What does the word heinous mean? Like, does heinous mean people annoy you? Definition: heinous, of a personal or wrongful act, especially a crime, utterly odious or wicked. Wow, thanks for giving me another word. I don't know what odious means. Extremely unpleasant, repulsive. You're telling me that the criticism is going to be repulsive, it's going to be disgusting, it's going to make her vomit, it's going to be appalling, it's going to be destructive, it's going to rock her mental state, it's going to evaporate her mind and her ability to process and function as an individual? Is that what you're telling me? That's insane. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy work, sir.
Bow to Your Deity replies, genuinely not trying to be mean, but she never should have stated anything related to legal matters against him if she wasn't planning on going through with it 100%, because it's just going to be more fuel Ethan has that she is not credible. Ethan is going to be insufferable and claim that she had no case in the first place, which is clearly not true. And No Resolution replies,
I mean, it clearly is true that he has no case. Okay. There's clearly no case in the first place. Like his entire like legitimate claim was, hey, she's watching another streamer sit here and lie about how I gave my kids Giardia and how they roll around and eat poop and shit, and they're all basically being abused, and she's just watching it making silly faces the whole time. Like, that's claim is like correct based on everything we've seen her doing. But okay, that was a good question. Someone asked, wonder how these kids / Denims were raised. during COVID. Things are very weird. COVID was weird. COVID really, boosted the terminally online behavior, like exponentially. People didn't grow up normally. They were out of school for a year or so. Social distancing, not really making any friends or interacting with any friends. It's like a legitimate, I think, like COVID, like 50 years from now, I think COVID's going to be in textbooks. Unless, conservatives are still in control, then it'll just be Bibles and we'll all be 20 IQ points fucking dumber.
Yeah, this is really disappointing, and to be honest, I'm just confused. I don't really have time to follow everything and just to see updates from the subreddit mostly. What led to her making this decision? Is she still pursuing the suit? Why self-funded? And Scary Spooky Hilarious
Yeah, why not a dress? Why a suit?
The way it's worded to me, at least, says that she doesn't have the money to cover the rest after the GoFundMe if this was to take 4 to 5 years to litigate. And Zizkill replies, we'll find out on Friday. Agreeable Nerve says, I love Denims, but she probably should have thought about this a little more. If you start something like this against someone like Ethan, you should commit to it. Naturally, it will be a multi-year long affair. Anyone who knows anything about Ethan knew the chance of a retraction was 0. In my opinion, her, Hasan, Ian, Mike, Frogan should all bring defamation lawsuits together.
Mike Frogan?
And help each other out rather than just her trying to do this solo. And Big Kutta says she's not retracting.
I mean, I would have imagined Hasan, if he really thinks that she has a case, he could just fund her, give her money for it, no?
The suit though. She is still pursuing him if he doesn't retract the statements, just in a self-funded manner. And a bitch
Nice. That person's definitely falling for it.
Says, she said she may not choose to do that though. Sounds like she isn't going to sue. The Victator then posts a statement on the Retraction subreddit titling it, Denims retracts. Well, that was anticlimactic. And Dark Knight Lighting replies, I'm 99% certain her representation dropped her after Ethan's lawyer sent them her spoilation of evidence. And Burned Priest says, yep, seems pretty.
What the hell is spoilation of evidence? Okay, so apparently spoilation of evidence refers to intentional destruction, alteration, or loss of evidence relevant to legal matters, either in a civil or criminal case. This can include failing to preserve evidence that a party knew or should have known was relevant to... Okay. Is that when they were talking about how she removed the streams and stuff? Deleting her VODs? Ah, interesting.
Obvious that's what happened, Lamau. Shame there's no way to prove it to shame her to her obnoxious ass fans. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty decent cell phone. Just waiting to see a bunch of gold medal mental gymnastics to try to somehow convince themselves that this was a win. And Eve replies, if she does proceed, Ethan will know right away when the next document comes from a different lawyer. Trying to be better try says, proving Ethan wrong. How does any of this prove anything? Because people donated money? There are people who donated $600,000 to some random white woman who screamed the N-word in some black kid's face.
That is something.
Nugo Comics replies, what's that saying? A fool and his money are easily parted? Appropriate Son says, well, this is incredibly embarrassing for her. Maybe the hype up from the girls trip has worn off. And Jesus replies, I wonder if that's when she planned this. Withheld McFake Name says, I hate to sound conspiratorial, but what are the chances she expected somebody like Hasan, the Jomas, or Bad Emma Panda to swoop in and pay a huge chunk
Emma Panda?
of the goal? And Leotro replies, who knows? What was she thinking? She wouldn't have won either way. And
well, you think that they would actually have done like a calculated event together. They did a whole video together with that shitty content, Luke. So I imagine that they would have done a little bit more. Like they would have talked about this behind the scenes. Also, I'm pretty sure iDubbbz and Anissa are completely, they just don't have any money left.
I think it would be very hard for her to find a lawyer who would represent her in such a losing case. She wanted the notoriety and the attention. I don't think she was very serious about the whole thing. She thinks this is all one big game. She's not known to be a principled person who takes accountability and her own word very seriously. Ethan himself.
Yeah, Emma Panda's Benata. Yeah, but I feel like that's just not funny. You know, like I feel like you got to give me something to work with there, you know? No?
Then posts a statement on his Instagram story responding to it by saying, in other words, her attorney explained to her that she had no chance of winning and would be liable to pay my attorney fees. Unfortunately for you, I don't need anyone's money, and I don't like being threatened by the person harassing me. Or, an even funnier option, her lawyer dropped her when they found out she had erased evidence. It's my medicine then screenshots this and posts it on the H3 Production subreddit.
She should have got some more, she should have kept, I don't know, I was going to say Giardia medicine, but that made no sense.
Reddit titling it Ethan dub posting.
I mean, if Ethan's saying her attorney, I guess that means that she actually did have an attorney, which I'm surprised of. If I'm being absolutely honest with you. I thought that she would just use fucking Chat GPT. I thought she just used a Mama Max lawyer.
Creo replies, Denim's lawyers. It's opinion. Also, it's substantially true. Also, you've misunderstood what he said. Also, you don't have a reputation to damage. Also, it's going to cost way more than $45,000. And first-time texter replies, also, you deleted evidence. Foreign Vacation says, Noah Sampson is shaking in his boots right now because he probably realized that when Ethan is serious about a lawsuit, he's serious.
Well, yeah, I just don't know how this communicates that. Unless, maybe. I mean, he probably is a little worried because he did say some wild shit in that video. I mean, it doesn't help him when he said in that video that Jews are just different when it came to on-the-street content. He's like, normally I wouldn't validate on-the-street content as a representation of a group, but the Jews are just different. He said something along those lines. It was insane.
This 2x4 skeleton says, so she didn't need the money in the first place. Interesting. And Obli replies, I didn't even notice this, but yikes. Snowbun replies, she wanted to prove people hate Ethan, but like 1,600 donations? Okay, girl. Means like a tiny fraction of Snark cared enough to donate. And probably Hasan/Anissa. And Mother Holly replies, 1 out of 10 Snarkers donating to a lawsuit fund against Ethan is very funny. Hideous girl posting the leftovers H3.
Well, I mean, they might have cared, but I imagine that most Snarkers don't have jobs and they're poor. So, maybe some of them were waiting for their grandma's fucking social security check to come in.
Subreddit. Poopy takes a break from making more Hasan videos to gloat about Denims.
Is Ethan poopy? Is Ethan poopy? That's funny.
What happened to the Noah Sampson suit? The Bad and Panada files? And Rocky replies, I hated that she backed out solely because I knew how smug and gross Ethan would be about it. And Bad to Your DD says, exactly. The harassment is just going to double for her now because Ethan thinks he's untouchable. Right. And Vagina says, yep, bad move on her part. I assumed she understood what she was getting into. It's odd to frame this as a win. The point was making them think twice before hurting creators. Fail.
Again, I think that the whole point was just to elongate the controversy, frankly.
Will get worse. Hanlon Razor replies, the way he gloats about money is so tacky and pathetic, but what are you going to do when that's the only thing you have going for you, I guess? And Stankley Kong replies,
true, I guess. Is that Ethan? That's the only thing he has going for him? Is that what they're saying? Okay.
He used to say that stuff ironically, and now he owns it. Possibility Jolly posts the second Ethan story on H3 Productions that we already read. And I'm the Liquor replies, if she can afford it with her own money, why was she fundraising in the first place? And Suikun says, she can't. This is a blatant I'm trying to save face message after she got humbled. She can't.
Yeah, even if she has decent amounts of money. Like, I do well for myself. There's no way I could afford a fucking lawsuit. Well, without crowdfunding, if I really needed to, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Can't admit publicly that she never had a case because it would make her look
Dude, let me just tell you something, okay? Just to be clear, I see a little bit of debates in the chat. All right, poop jokes are still funny. Just letting you know. Doesn't matter who they're from. Poop jokes are always funny.
Stupid and ridiculous, but she also can't continue the lawsuit because she doesn't have a case. So she's trying to make it look like she graciously and selfishly is choosing to go the noble route and use her own money for a future lawsuit, which will never happen. KB replies, Denims, I am demanding Ethan retract statements or I will take him to court for defamation. Ethan, lol, no, I stand by it. Let's go to court. Denims, actually, I don't want to. Guys, I was still right. And Real Fake Jame replies, guys, it's my lawsuit, my choice. And Kyle says, Denims is actually considering suing Ethan, just like how Hasan considered going to Gaza. KK Targren then
Jesus Christ, that one's funny.
And post the second tweet that we read earlier from Denims on the Leftovers H3 subreddit, and Legitimate Shoe replies, I'll manage a way to give her money regardless. I hope others will find a way too.
Oh, well, you guys already do when you fucking donate on our stream.
NOP says, support her Twitch, etc. Chloe et al. Says, I appreciate how clear and honest she's been about all of this. She's really stellar. NOP says, yep, she's amazing all around in my honest opinion.
Amazing all around, in my honest opinion. She's dumb as dog shit. Literally, it's just because she's Dr. Tits. You don't start forming memories until you're 5 years old. My name is Dr. Tits, professional psychiatrist. Wow, incredible. I literally fucking charted my pants. I literally, there's literal Giardia in my pants right now. There's actual Giardia shit in my pants right now.
Denim says she will be making more of a statement on Friday, so subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss that. Shout out to our Tier 3 members, Internet Representatives, Kiko and Salsad. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
Okay, incredible.